Parshas Shelach begins really with the episode of the Meraglim, the spies that were sent in to Eretz Canaan, into the land of Israel, Eretz Israel, to see what this place which Hashem had promised them, to see what it was like. If it was a place that they would be able to conquer, how they would do it. The end of this week's Parsha ends with the same idea. Spies. The pasuk says, "V'lo sasuru acharei levavchem ve'acharei einechem asher atem zonim achareihem." And you shall not, which we simply translate as, you shall not stray after your heart, or after your hearts, or after your eyes, which you are straying after. Rashi says, what is this lashon? What is this expression of sasuru? He says, Kimo mitur haaretz. It's like spying, the same word like spying on the land. You should not spy, really, after your hearts. How are we going to understand this? So Rashi continues and says something which is fascinating. He says, Halev ve'einayin he meraglim laguf. The heart and the eyes are spies for the body. Misarsarim lo es ha'averos. They basically arrange for the body the transgressions which it can indulge itself in. So how does this work? Rashi says, Ha'ayin roeh, the eyes see, v'halev chomed, and the heart then desires. V'haguf oseh es ha'averos. And the end is ultimately that the body goes ahead and carries out the avera, the sinful act. But if we stop and take a look at this Rashi and just contemplate it for a second, we see that there's actually something sophisticated going on here. Because the way the pasuk arranged the line of events is not the way that Rashi presents it. The verse says that one should not spy after his heart and then after his eyes. The way that Rashi explains this verse, he says, Ha'ayin roeh. First, the eye sees. And then, v'halev chomed. And then, the heart desires. Which is the opposite order of the pasuk. Opposite order of the verse. Again, the verse was heart and then eyes. Rashi is eyes and then heart. Now, there are two ways of approaching this Rashi. One is we could say the Rashi was just not precise. Rashi's commentary was Rashi meant heart and eyes and heart, what difference does it make? But if we approach this Rashi with an iota of integrity and try to extend our minds a bit to meet the greatness of Rashi's mind, we can see here that this Rashi is actually a mafteach, a key for unlocking a point of tremendous chachma in the Torah, tremendous wisdom. And that is that the way the Torah is telling it, that one ultimately strays after his heart first and then after his eyes, that is true. Absolutely. But Rashi's telling us, how does the heart even begin to be chomed something, to desire something? It's through what comes in through the eyes. Meaning the heart gets trained ultimately by what we see. But what that vision is, what we see at that point, that is not a seeing that is going to be moshech, that is going to pull the person to do the avera. That is just a seeing which ultimately is going to pollute, for lack of better words, one's heart. But through that vision, And that the eyes being an inlet into one's heart, the heart now is chomed certain things. I'm sure many of us have experienced walking into a candy store. I myself can recall an event where I was walking down the street and I had absolutely no desire for anything sweet. I walked in to get, a drink or something, pick up something for Shabbos, and there was a lot of candy in the store. All of a sudden, I had a desire for candy. Like, gummy bears, chocolate, I don't know. There was something. But it was a desire that I did not have half a minute before when I was on the sidewalk. Just an example. But what Rashi is telling us is that once the heart gets affected by what we see, that creates a desire for something. The eyes now are empowered with a desire of the heart. There's a chemda of the heart. The heart is chomed something. The eyes are now empowered by that. That is a much more intensified re'iyah, seeing something. That is a re'iyah, that is a sight, a vision, which is going to draw a person to do something. This mitzvah, or this pasuk I should say, this verse, is stated in the context of tzitzis, of these fringes which one wears on a four-cornered garment. We live in a world which is materialistic. There's no hiding from that. We are surrounded by materialism wherever we go. To be affected by the materialism around us, I would claim, is completely human. We're human beings living in by nature, a materialistic world. However, the Torah is telling, yes, you are human, but as a Jew, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility because besides you just having a goof, a body, you have a neshama as well. You have a soul as well. And you cannot forget that. And that soul, which you have to keep pure as much as you can in this world, there are going to be temptations every day. The mitzvah of tzitzis is there ultimately for us to remember that. Ultimately for us to remember that we are to be more refined people, more refined individuals, and that we have a soul, that we have a neshama, there's spirituality, and that can be affected greatly by the materialism around us. So 2 things from this. I think first of all, we have learned how to approach a Rashi. This was not just Rashi at the end of the week. Rashi was a wine merchant, and just got tired of writing, hey, eyes, heart, what difference does it make? No. We have to approach Rashi with more integrity than that. Approach Rashi as what he says is what he means. And by that approach, we can unlock, in this case, more appreciation, more understanding for the mitzvah of tzitzis. Thank you, and wish you all a good Shabbos.